Evidence. Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. I'm Chris, and this is not Hop Along Audra. That's just her swag.
Yeah, no. I got my swag going.
I am Tony.
And I am Cherie.
I am Lourdes.
And I am out of jokes. I'm going to say Ron tonight.
Oh, look at
that.
Yeah.
For everybody watching, Ron Yacovetti, Lourdes Gonzalez, fresh off their Gettysburg tour and Grammy Award-winning performance.
Yes.
Pretty soft.
Congratulations. How's Gettysburg? It was good.
We had a good time.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
It was nice. We got to hang out with Chris and Audra again. It's so funny to be looking at them in a little box on a screen when we were right next to them like 24 hours ago or so. All right.
Yeah. Now you can look me in the eye.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Well, the reason I say that is everybody that came up to me at Gettysburg went, Jesus, I didn't realize you're so big. I know, what do you mean by big?
But that's funny. Somebody told me it was a female, and she was taller than me, maybe a little shorter than Chris. And she goes, "Oh my God, I didn't realize you were so tiny and cute." I was like, "What are you talking about?"
It'll make me punch you in the knee.
Right?
I have to do a quick shout out. There was a gentleman that says he watches our show, younger guy, came up to me at the bash and said, "Hey, it's Chris from EVPE. Hey, it's so nice to see you." He goes, "Man, I watch you guys all the time." I'm like, "Great, that's fantastic." He goes, "I can't believe I'm standing here with a celebrity." And I went, "Where?" He goes, "No, you, man." He goes, "I love your guys' show." And I said, "Thanks." He goes, "It was nice meeting you." And he leaves. I never got your name, bud. So if you're watching, tell me who you are in the comments. It was fantastic. Tag us.
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm going to do something for Anthony.
Aw.
There you go.
There we go. For a few minutes, Anthony's squeezing my head.
Hey, Robin. Robin was there.
Yep.
Robin was there. It was very nice meeting you, Robin.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Yep. So everybody we got to see at the bash.
It was fantastic. So Tony and Cherie, y'all know what we did.
So what did you do?
What did you guys do?
We packed. We tried to withstand the 112 to 115 degree temperatures.
I know.
Somebody posted that today broke a record at 118. I don't think it was. I never saw it.
Right?
I don't know. I saw like 113, 114, but I didn't see 118.
Yeah, Roger said
it. Was it the record for July 17th? Because the record in Phoenix is 123.
Ooh.
Well, the overall record, I think it was for July.
Oh, okay.
Well, then they're trying to do like consistent days, and it's like 18 days in a row.
Hey, ridiculous. I mean, I can handle 2 or 3, but we're on like 12 or something like. I'm done.
It's brutal. Yeah.
It's been kind of warm here. It's 93 today.
93 and humid, so it's. But I'll take it. I'll take it all along.
Let's see what else. What else did we do? Well, we've got some, and I say final preparations going on with the documentary.
Nice.
It is finished. We are just determining where it's going to go. So
Oh,
hang
cool.
tight.
Hey,
It's
Chris.
going to be soon, hopefully, and we'll be able to start giving some information on it. But we'll see what happens.
It's hot either way. Agreed.
113 to 118, it doesn't matter. It's hot. Welcome to the surface of the sun.
Mhm. Welcome to my easy bake oven.
Be right back.
You're going to click through
It's toasty.
just
So for everybody just jump in, and Chris just asked how Gettysburg was. Gettysburg was fantastic.
he's such a
We got to spend tons of time with Ron and Lourdes and Anthony Simonelli and Maureen. We ran into a ton of people that have been on the show. We got some more people coming onto the show. Yeah, Mary Jo and Kayla was there. William Helms was there. He's going to come on the show next month. So a lot of good people.
Yeah.
It's swollen, Courtney. Thank you.
It is incredibly mad at Pennsylvania golfers, is what it is.
Yes. Dang gopher
Okay.
holes.
Loosen the screws on the side and then tilt it down.
Can't you guys wait till after the show to do that stuff?
You wanted to fix the lighting now, so. That's
there he
Raul,
is.
Power Paranormal.
Yep.
There it is. It's a good dude right there.
Yep.
He's awesome. Raul's funny.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
y'all.
yeah, so Jonathan Keyworth is watching, of course. Jeff Taflin, we see you. We appreciate you. Sorry, because he was messaging us, but we usually don't start doing shout outs in the middle of the intro, but we see you, our friend. We see you.
Yep.
And we appreciate you that you're here.
Thank you, Courtney.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Is that what happened though, Audrey? Did you trip in a gopher hole?
Did.
Friday on our way to
On the way there.
Gettysburg, we stopped at a rest area about 2 hours south of Gettysburg,
I helped him.
Wow.
and we were walking towards the restrooms at the rest area, and I heard, "Oh shit!" I turned around and Audra's on the ground.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah,
Not
so
good.
my right foot hit the gopher hole. We were in the grass on just a slight incline, and my right toe kind of like went in. So my right foot went that way, and my left knee hit the ground, and I slid that down too. So
So
yeah,
I want to
was
help
bad.
out for all you people in Arizona. Grass is that green thick stuff that you see on golf courses, but ours grows naturally here, and we have animals in ours.
Yes, Roger, owie. It hurts like the Dickens.
Yeah.
Vodka helped.
She was a trooper. She hung out.
Yeah, we saw Chris walk into the expo, and we're like, "Hey, where is Alice in Wonderland?" He goes, "She's upstairs icing her ankle." We went, "What?"
What happened? Yeah.
Then he told us what happened. I was like, "Oh."
Oh no.
Yeah.
So she's a trooper, man. She made it through the whole. She made it through the whole thing. She hobbled around. She joined us when we did Staticom.
Chris got her crutches.
For
and
dinner?
she was with crutches.
Yep, Chris got her crutches.
Everybody was fabulous, though. Anybody that's watching that was there, including Ron and Lourdes, of course. Thank you guys for being sweet. It was very, very helpful having everybody around at Gettysburg.
Oh.
That's right.
She was
Super
right.
trooper.
Yeah. Here's the best part. Every time that we travel, I always get up in the morning and I'll go get Audra coffee because, no offense to the Gettysburg hotel coffee sucks. And we are coffee snobs. So I will find a Starbucks, I will find a good coffee shop, and I'll go get her coffee in the morning before we get going. Well, this trip, it was coffee and crutches is what Audra got.
Yep.
It wasn't coffee and flowers like normal. There was coffee and crutches.
Well, between the coffee and the crutches, I couldn't carry the flowers. So I figured she needed the crutches more.
I did.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, though. So nice seeing everybody. I just felt so bad that I couldn't get around and maneuver and see more people, and I felt horrible not getting up and being able to hug people as I sat there in a chair.
One of my favorite parts of the whole weekend was having you guys there. that we're part of the EVPE team, and
Absolutely.
then having Cassandra there, who is our former teammate from Unseen Paranormal Investigations, and seeing you guys getting acquainted and hitting it off, it warmed my heart. I was like, oh, that's so nice.
She's awesome. She is. Yeah.
Tony and Cherie, you would appreciate Cassandra because she was like a female Chris.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's awesome.
With a lot less F-bombs.
I was just gonna say, oh well.
Yeah, she's funny. And we ran at our table. We had the monitor on the stand, and we ran the two trailers for the docuseries, for Knowingly Talking, the docuseries. We ran those trailers on and off the whole weekend at the table. We're telling people about it.
Yep.
So
awesome.
Very
it was
cool.
a great weekend. Yeah.
Ron
and for a good cause because they raised a lot of money for the soldiers. Tons of toys for the Dana's Pink Wishes for the children. There was 2 other charities, and I don't forget what they are.
Yeah.
But they did well. They did a good job.
So we have a fantastic guest, and we have to move forward. But one thing I want to say, this was like a huge. You want to know something that speaks volumes about the community. That night, like a twister, like a tornado driven by rain, had touched down somewhere behind the hotel, and one of the vendors who had a collection of Ouija boards and a tent and some stuff outside, his tent was torn away, as were some of the banners and stuff. And so within a fundraising event, they held a fundraising event, and they raised like $500-600 for him
to help him out
with his losses that happened.
It was after you guys left. We didn't even know they were doing it. Like, they did it, off the cuff, so they got as many people as they could. We didn't even know it was happening, but then they made the announcement and they raised $600 for him to help him out.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good idea. Yeah. It was nice. He cried. He appreciated it. Yeah, he had tears. Yeah.
That's the ghost hunting community for you right there.
Right.
Absolutely.
That is fantastic.
That's our peeps.
That's right.
And we quickly took this. Jenny Colucci was here, and she said, "Nice to see us back." We felt horrible we didn't get to be here when you were here. You're one of our favorite people on the planet. We were just wrecked coming back from Lilydale. We were exhausted. So
we apologize.
Yeah.
I have something really quick to say, and then we'll get to our guest.
I know.
We had an interview scheduled at Gettysburg Bash with Ronald from ERRT Radio, and scheduling conflicts caused us to have to postpone that. I felt really bad about it. So if you guys want to pay really close attention, ERRT Radio, I know it's a different network, but hey, it's called Para-Unity, right? Audra and I are going to be doing an interview with Ron live Friday night at 10 p.m. to make up for what we didn't get to do with him at the Bash. Yeah. 10 p.m.
Nice. Very nice.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Now there's somebody
waiting in the wings.
We were supposed to do tonight. All right, guys, you have seen him before, and he always provides great evidence. We brought him back. This guy he is the founder of Huntophobia, and Through the Lens. He is one of the hosts of Through the Lens with Bryan and Lex. Everybody, please welcome Bryan Laverty. Hey, Bryan.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, we were saying before we went live that it's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's been I think it's 2.5 years. It's been.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it. Today, and I was going, it's been a while since I've been on their show. But the last time I was on their show, we had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We did. We did.
Ready for more.
That's right.
Yeah, of course. So hi, Gio. Yeah. Hi.
So Bryan, when you were on last time, was Ron and Lourdes with us?
Yes.
Yeah, 2.5 years ago. Yeah, you would have been.
Yeah. They were. It was very overwhelming the first time I came on because there's so many of you.
I remember that. I remember him saying that comment.
It's like a jury.
Yeah, I think I said at that time too. I hope this doesn't become an interrogation rather than an interview.
Not our style. Not our style.
No. We backed away from that approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where were you on the night of
We moved on to torture.
Even though we don't have it here, I plead the fifth.
Even though we don't have, that's funny.
Yeah, we don't have that here in Canada. So
Florida said we moved on to torture, which is you just have to listen to us talk.
Yeah.
Beginning of the show.
No, that was great. It was fun watching you guys interact and talking about all kinds of different things, and especially about the bash. Like I said earlier, I plan to go before we came live. I plan to hopefully go there next year. So
yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be great. You'd enjoy it.
Great to see you there.
Good people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I saw. I think Lourdes. I think you did a live at one point.
I did, yeah.
And I watched a little bit of that. Yeah. So it looked like a lot of fun. So
yeah, it was fun.
I'll be hitting a lot more Paracon starting next year. So
good.
Nice.
So
cool.
Good. A message for Christoph. Our dear friend Cassie, the big C. She's watching. She's watching.
Is she?
Hi, Cassandra.
Hi,
She was a blast.
Yeah.
So really cool people up there, Brian. You got to make sure you come up next year. And Dos Rathmans will be there next year.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait.
That's what we're missing.
Yeah,
Audrey and I have already bought the duct tape and the chloroform to make sure we get them up there. So,
I think one of the main reasons why I want to go, one because it's Gettysburg, obviously.
Absolutely.
But the second thing is because of the Paracon itself. I've heard so much about it over the last few years that I definitely want to be a part of it. So hopefully next year, I will try to get a table for the Global Ghost Hunt.
nice.
So,
Cool.
yeah, so
That'd be great.
That's
Perfect
what I'm
place
planning on
to
doing.
promote it too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yep.
Well, I bet you guys came to see evidence.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
yeah, I sent a lot of it
Strange.
too.
Can we do an evidence show?
And this is all, and I don't think and this is like when I was on the last time, I showed a lot of evidence. I think everything I sent last week is all brand new evidence. So
Nice.
Fantastic.
yeah, so
That's awesome.
Yeah.
it's been a busy year and a half, to say the least. So especially with the Global Ghost Hunt, doing my own investigations. Was out in the UK last March, last year March, and so it was a lot of fun. It's been a busy year and a half for sure.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, since you got 11 clips, Brian, what we'll do is I'll go ahead and show them first, and then we can chat about it after.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Not all 11. You're gonna do one at a time.
Yeah.
And then you have to recap and remember.
That's right.
We're going to play like 20 minutes of video, and then you just talk. When we hear you stop, we'll come shut it down.
Right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix shit up.
Yeah. Okay.
Really
Okay.
test you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank
I'll
God
tell
I
you
was
what I'm
there.
playing. I'll play
Thank God
it.
I
We'll
was.
talk about it,
Thank
then
God I
we'll-
was there for all of it. So.
Good answer.
Great
Yeah,
response.
Gordy.
All right. So the first one we're going to listen to is called Burnt in the Home. Here we go.
Did you die in this tunnel? The second story is the husband and wife were going through a nasty divorce, and the ex-husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, burned down the house. And unfortunately, the girl was still in the house when the fire was going on. She got severely burned, came down to this tunnel, and died. That's another story. Did you die in this tunnel?
Wow.
That's very good. Clear.
Now, what's really interesting about this tunnel, there's been a lot of different stories on how this girl died in this tunnel. There's like 3 or 4 different stories, and I've been to this tunnel quite a bit, and I've been always trying to obviously find out what the answer is. And obviously you heard one of the stories. that the girl died in the tunnel. There's also a story of that same girl, unfortunately getting sexually assaulted, and she was set on fire and to burn any evidence this guy left behind, and that's how she died. That's another story. There's a few more other stories with this, but what I find really interesting is what I said at the beginning of the investigation is this girl was burnt in the parents were going through a nasty divorce, and the girl was still in the house when the house caught on fire. She went down in the tunnel and died. And what I find really interesting is what I captured there on the SB7 saying burnt at home. So that really told me right there that was possibly the real story of what happened to this girl and not the sexual assault or all the other stories. So that was something that I was really, really trying to get the answer to. And I truly believe I did in that episode that I did, or that investigation that I did. So that was really obviously I didn't hear it at the time. It wasn't until I got home and was going through all the evidence and the video, and then I heard that, and I could tell you my mouth nearly dropped, and I was going, oh my gosh, like that's it, because I'm definitely the type of an investigator. Like I always put investigators in three categories. Like you have your hunter, you have the one that's looking for the answers, and then you have the one that's after the science. I'm really about the one that's looking for the answers, and that clearly was an answer that I got there.
Yeah.
And
where's that at?
That place is called the Streaming Tunnel. It's about an hour and a bit away from me, and it's probably about 20 minutes away from the border of Canada and Buffalo. And I'll be honest, I'm surprised that is not on the top 10 list of most haunted spots in Canada, because every time I go there, I get great evidence. And it's either on the SB7, it's either on the camera, or it's even on the voice recorder. I'm always capturing something in that tunnel. It's an incredible tunnel, but it's a sad story, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
that's true. But the amazing, there's multiple versions of how amazing that capture is not only, like you were saying, did it answer the question you were looking for, but it literally spelled out one of the versions of the history that you were told, and she repeated that history in the answer that came on the EVP recording. So to me, that's about as close as you can get to a clear-ended classification of, okay, I think we got our answer. So that was great.
Yeah, for sure. It was really a great moment for me. Capturing that, because again, it's one of these things where I go to these locations, and if there's a sad history to it, I try to find or try to get those answers on what the truth really is, because you can go in a lot of these places, and I find that there's a lot of places that over the years get really embellished. For example, like I was at a famous spot last November, and that was Bobby Mackey's. And last November I was there, and I really find that place over the years, the stories have just gotten more and more and more embellished. And personally myself, and I think we all know about Bobby Mackey's, like they say the gate to hell in the basement. We actually did an EVP session, and we captured on the voice recorder. We asked, is there a gate to hell here? And we captured it saying no. So, it's things like that I'm really looking for and trying to get the answers to. And I hate to say this about Bobby Mackey's, but if I were to put Bobby Mackey's on a scale of 1 to 10, it would probably be about a 3 when it comes to hauntings, to be honest. And there were some cool moments, some really, really cool moments, but so again, it's one of those things where I'm looking for the answers, and that particular moment I definitely got one.
That's fantastic.
Good.
Yeah. Well, and that's good feedback for other investigators out there too. We all want to be honest with each other, because we don't want people traveling across the United States and paying thousands of dollars to go to a famous location and be disappointed either. You know,
yeah, for sure. We got like, I definitely say that place is haunted, but I not to the extent that you see some of these shows that are put on about Bobby Mackey's. It's tough, and you know, and again, it's one of those things where I go in looking for the answers, and to be perfectly honest, that place is definitely an interesting place. I would say that place was more scary because it had a lot of code violations. Like if you walk into that place, there's wires hanging out everywhere. And the floor is really, really uneven. It almost feels like at one point the floor was sinking. And I don't know how that place is still open, because it is open twice a week on Fridays and Saturdays for the bar. But the place is scary, really, really scary.
Well,
and
come closing time, the floor feels straight.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and funny.
Yeah,
and plus, it's also important to point out, and we say this all the time, is that like we went to Eastern State Penitentiary, which is for some people a treasure trove of paranormal evidence, and for us it was kind of flat. Yeah. So I mean, we can speak to our experiences. The week after you left, that might have been like insanely active for somebody else.
Yeah,
but
maybe
the fact that you're genuinely honest about what you got and how your experience was, that's the important takeaway. Because, you know, from one experience, we can't sum up a location for everybody. But the fact that you're honest about your experience instead of just sensationalizing it for tantalizing audiences, that's cool.
Yeah. And another place I visited while I was down there was the Octagon Hall.
Oh, nice.
Now, if I were to put that on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give that 11.
Oh, wow.
That place was active from the moment we walked in to the moment we left. And we were there for 14 hours. And if anybody has a chance to go to Octagon Hall, definitely go to Octagon Hall, because it's an amazing place. When we first entered the Octagon Hall through the back door, me and somebody I was with, he was a friend of mine, we were standing listening to Bear, who's the tour guide of this place. Great guy, by the way. If you want an excellent tour guide, Bear is the number one guy for tour guide. He's just incredible. But when we walked in, me and Adam, the guy I was with, we were just standing there, and all of a sudden we heard what sounded like to be dragging along the basement floor, and it sounded like chains were attached to this person. So it sounded like somebody's being dragged, and you can hear the chains going along the floor. And that was when we'd been there maybe 5 minutes. And it was like, oh my God, like, did you hear that? We both looked at each other. And before we get to the next clip, there was one moment at the Octagon Hall that I love to talk about, and it's really, really interesting, is when we were setting up all of our equipment. About 6 feet away from me, there was a cabinet to my left, and it had glass doors, like wooden, like frame with the glass in it. And all of a sudden, me and Adam were talking about the place. And all of a sudden, I heard something that sounded like to be a door. And I looked to my left, and one door in the cabinet was shaking, like it was trying to open. And I looked to my left. I looked at Adam. He's looking at it, and he goes, "Did that just happen?" He goes, "Yeah." And we tried to we tried to recreate that, because I went over to it, see if I could jump up and down to maybe see if I moved and it moved the cabinet. Nothing. And of course, we didn't have our cameras going, but it was just a really, really cool place. So I recommend anybody go to Octagon Hall. It's a fantastic place.
That's fantastic. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
very cool.
So I just wanted to answer GOB's question. I think he asked something that if it's hard to, when you review and go to a place, upon review, it's hard to ask follow-up questions. And that's true. That's why investigators usually go to the same location several times to ask follow-up questions.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. If I ever had the opportunity to go to back to Bobby Mackey's, I think I would. But it's expensive.
Yeah.
For the amount of time, you only get 5 hours. So for the amount of money that you're spending, I could spend my money in better places, I think. Let me just leave it at that.
I hear you.
5 hours
Yeah.
is not enough.
No, by the time
No.
you get equipment.
No,
set up,
you need more.
No. We spent $300 at Octagon Hall, and we were there for 14 hours.
Wow.
$300. If you want to
Yeah.
take a tour, it's $5.
Did I see?
Wow.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. It's a cool place.
I would charge 10 to walk somebody around my house. That's cheap. And it's not even shaped like anything geometric you got to identify with at all. It's
No
octagon.
dinner included on that $500.
That's cool.
Bobby Mackey's was expensive. I will say that. I have a friend that goes there all the time. He loves that place. So to each his own, I guess, right? So
Yeah.
Plenty of
It's cool that
places.
you went there, and that's a lot of people know it. A lot of people want to go there. You made the trek. That's awesome.
Well, it's funny. It's like for hauntings, it wasn't that great, but for the history, for the rich history it has, that's what made it really special for me.
Yeah.
To be honest. So I'm walking through and I go, I can't believe I'm standing in Bobby Mackey's for the amount of history it has.
Yeah.
And I'm just not talking about the paranormal investigators. I'm talking about the singers, the musicians that have gone through there. Is incredible. There's a the bucking horse, like that thing you can go when it's in a bar and stuff like that. They had that in there, but there's another one downstairs, and apparently the one downstairs John Travolta sat on.
Oh, that's so cool.
One of the girls that I was with, she went and touched it and go, I can't believe I'm touching the same thing that John Travolta sat on. So that was cool.
Yeah.
What up, Steve Holte? Steve Holte, icon of ITC, builder of boxes.
All right, so here we go. Next one, church keynote. Here we go. Wow.
That was very clear.
The church is absolutely amazing. It's I don't know what I still haven't found out what kind of church it is, but like I've been there 3 or 4 times, and there's a piano that is in the main it's in the main room, and I had, like I said in the clip there, I had my camera sitting on there. We went to another room to do an SB7 in another room, and I left the camera there, and you can hear the keynote playing. Now, the interesting thing about that is most of the keys on that piano don't work.
Oh, wow.
So that's what even made it a lot more interesting. And there is an EVP. I can't understand what it says right before the keynote, but there's definitely something there. Just, again, this church is creepy, smelly, and a lot of activity. Like the last time I was there was last year. I took a couple of buddies of mine, and every time we enter into this church, something happens. We captured an EVP. Now, the last time I was there, I took 2 guys, walked in, I heard something. I wasn't sure what I heard. And so when I came home, obviously I went through the footage again, and it literally said, and I won't say the swear word, but it said, "Get out, holes."
Wow.
Twice.
So for everybody watching, assholes.
Yeah, it actually said it twice. Right in the note, it said, "Get out, assholes." And now what's interesting is I've been there 3 or 4 times, and it knows me. It knows me now because I did an SB7, and it said Bryan on the SB7 3 times. and I've actually captured it saying Bryan on the microphone camera. So it definitely knows who I am, but I don't think it liked the people that I brought. So I think because it's never been really nasty to me in the past, and has never really spoken like that before. So I don't think it appreciated me bringing two people with me for some reason, which I found interesting. But there's another video of this church that we captured, and it's actually sad. It sounds like, well, you'll see in a clip later on, but it seems like there's a lot of spirits there and they can't get out, and I don't know why. I don't know why at all. It's interesting. So,
do you know which one that is?
It says it should say.
We'll do that now.
Yeah.
Right now. All right, let's take a listen. Here we go.
Are you stuck here? Do you want to leave?
Yes. I just heard yes.
Are you stuck here? Do you want to leave?
Yes. I just heard yes.
Wow.
Yep.
That was great.
Same voice.
Yeah, it's and in fact, I went there one time. I went there, and I ended up bringing a woman home with me. That unfortunately, the medium that I was talking to, that I rely on, she said she's a very sad woman, and it sounds like she's looking for something. She thought maybe she was looking for her son, and which is interesting because I actually took a picture and I captured a little boy in the church by a doorway, which it was really, really interesting picture. And you just see the boy's head and you see a little bit of his shoulders, but then you don't see the rest of him. So it was really, really interesting. This church is, again, it's really, really creepy church. There's one room that has a white rocking chair sitting in the middle of the room, and there's nothing else in the room. And in the rocking chair, it says, "Come sit." I've never actually sat in that chair. I never will. Because there was one time where I had an SB7 on the rocking chair and it said, "Come sit." And I said, no way, not happening. So, yeah, I will never, ever sit in that chair. But the church is insane. It's just so much activity in that church. I've captured so much in that church. And It's a great spot to go to, for sure.
Is that close to
Chris
home?
Moore said, I'm sorry, Roger, go ahead.
I was just going to say, is that close to home for you too, the church area?
Yeah, it's about 20-25 minute drive from me.
Okay.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's not. Oh.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it's one of those places where you're really not supposed to go into. But yeah, I can't resist that place. It calls me all the time. So
Yeah. Chris Moore said that the voice sounds creepy, and I agree. It sounds like restless. It does. It sounds like it's like
yeah. It's interesting because there was one time where I captured a woman humming. I was by the piano and we were asking questions about the piano, and all of a sudden we captured on the microphone camera humming, like it was almost like she was warming up to play. And there was another time we had the SB7 on the piano, and somebody I was with, his name was Jay. He asked, "Would it provoke you if we play the piano?" And it said yes. So it's just a really, really interesting place. I should have sent you that clip. That clip was incredible, to be honest. Yeah. So we actually captured another thing that happened there that night with Jay. And that same clip that in the clip that you showed, that happened the same night. We actually had a book thrown off the piano.
Oh.
Wow.
And we caught the tail end of the book hitting the floor. And there was no reason for the book to come off the piano. It'd been there the whole time we were there. And all of a sudden we left the room, we came back, and the piano was thrown off the book was thrown off the piano. It was pretty incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got another one from the church.
What you got?
One.
So let's go ahead and take a listen. Here we go.
Very
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds
and,
like there's something right before it too.
what's that?
Sounds like there's something right before it too.
Yeah, and I thought so too, and I couldn't really understand it. But that to me, the "Please Come Back" was the main focus of that clip, and again, that was captured over the microphone camera, and it's it almost reminds me of the Trap one, kind of similar voice in the second, yes, and kind of. Yeah, it was kind of. It kind of almost sounds like the same voices, and it was a cool moment. Again, another mouth dropping moment when I heard it going through the editing, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you guys ever come up this way, I'll take you to the church. How about that?
Oh yeah.
I appreciate the invite, Bryan. That is one place that Chris won't investigate.
Abandoned churches.
They won't investigate abandoned churches or anything related to Indian burial sites.
Okay, well that makes sense.
I'm part Native American, and I'm such a strong religious bone in my body. I'm a very faithful person, and I believe a place that God has left, I don't want to enter.
Okay. Well, maybe I shouldn't have sent those clips then.
No, you're good. No, I give you credit for doing it. It's fantastic, but it doesn't surprise me that you find something in an abandoned church, because once God leaves, it leaves the door open. And then I feel that, spirits, you're going to have spirits going there looking for God, and then you're going to have spirits come in that are against God at the same time. So it's
well, I like it to be known. Anytime I do an investigation, I always go in very respectful. I always introduce myself, and anybody I'm with, on any investigation that I've ever done. And I think I'm walking into somebody else's domain, and you should be respectful. And I find, for me personally, I think introducing yourself, being respectful, all those things, you're liable to get more evidence than you would if you go in there very hostile. And I don't agree with, and I've seen many videos with people being very hostile towards spirits, and I think it's, for me personally, it's wrong. And this has always worked for me. And when I introduce myself, when I'm respectful, I always get a lot more evidence.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about it on the show before. We all firmly believe that, spirits are people and just without their meat suits. And how would you want to be treated if somebody came to talk to you?
Yeah. My partner on Through the Lens uses. He always says, when you walk into a coffee shop and start yelling out, demanding questions to be answered, you just wouldn't do it. So why would you do it in a haunted location?
Right. That's a good example.
Yeah.
And it's true. And the people that do, they usually call the cops on, because I've seen it in Harlem.
That's awesome. It's Wendy Hayes, by the way.
And you know what? And I agree with that. Facebook user. I've seen too many videos with people walking in and getting really, really hostile and something happening to them, whether it's a scratch, whether it's something, feeling sick, whatever it may be. And even if you're walking into a location you've never been in, you should be respectful, because you don't want anything bad to happen to you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, for sure.
Well, you don't know what's in the location, and you don't want to piss off something negative if you actually find something negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And what you do know is in the location, and that's you. And as anybody in part of any community, if you don't have a standard of excellence and respect for your own behavior, then you don't belong in any community.
Yeah.
So just holding yourself to a standard. So
Yeah,
kudos on making that a point, Bryan, to point that out as a philosophy or a policy, what you do.
Yeah.
Yep. We agreed.
Agreed.
Yep. So there's who's screaming colors again?
Huh?
More
Hey,
screaming
keep them in order, lady. Who's running this?
me.
And people watching our in our audience, Edward and Nicole and Jenny, these are all people who we've seen in the field, who Cassie, same thing, who all
Robin.
walk that same walk. So you've got like-minded people watching tonight.
Absolutely.
Right.
Good.
Well, I think there's been enough of the paranormal community shared that people are starting to get educated that that's not provoking, and yelling doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually saw a video and I'm pretty sure that it was fake. And they faked it. But again, this person went in yelling and screaming, and the woman that he was with got knocked off a chair. And I don't know if that was fake or if it was real, but my first thing that came to my mind is karma.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one we got is the Burwash EVP SB7. Here we go.
Did you watch movies in here? Definitely. That was definitely. Did you watch movies in here? Definitely. That was definitely.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Definitely.
For a second there, I thought the person who was there was a mannequin because he was so still.
I did too.
Yeah,
I had to look twice as well.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen paintings less stoic than that. That was amazing.
That his name was Michael. A very, very eccentric type of person. It was my first time meeting him. He was actually one of my my camera guy's friends, and he wanted to come. And so it was interesting. It was interesting. It was. I'll say this. It was very interesting investigation with him there. Yeah. When that video was actually put together, and that video is actually on Paraflix. And yeah, when he came, like during the episode, we did interviews. So like it would cut to one of us during the episode, and he was wearing a white suit, and which I found very, very interesting. Great guy. He's an actor here in Toronto, like me, and yeah, he's Burwash Prison is an amazing location. It takes about 5 hours to drive there from here.
Oh, wow.
And then you got to park your car, and it's another 45-minute walk
Wow.
through the woods.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, through the woods too.
Through the woods, yeah.
Wow.
And the first time I went there, I'm glad I went there, but unfortunately it was in July, and we didn't bring bug spray with us. And by the time we got to the prison, I had at least 2,000 bites.
Oh my god!
And then we had horse flies, and yeah, it was really, really bad. My whole back of my shirt was covered in blood, and yeah, and I was wearing a white shirt, which even attracts them more. And yeah, it was a terrible situation, but a great investigation.
You want to go on?
No, I want to go to the church even more.
Yeah, Burwash Prison. Burwash Prison is an amazing place. The Burwash Prison wasn't really for serious offenders. If there was an offender there that maybe killed somebody or something along that, they were only there for a temporary stay, and then they got moved to more of a prison where there was more dangerous people. But there is a story that a guy that was staying there until he was waiting on his transfer. He actually escaped the prison. He was in there because he unfortunately, I don't know what was wrong with this guy, but unfortunately he killed his mother. And
a lot would be the answer to that question.
Yeah, and he unfortunately he dumped her body in the lake, and they couldn't find her. They know he had part of it. They eventually found his mother's body, and he was arrested and obviously sent to jail. But yeah, he escaped and stole a car and drove all the way to Toronto, and eventually was caught. But really, that jail is great, but wasn't really any serious offenders there. But there were people that died in that jail. It was actually surrounded by a small little town that's no longer there. But the jail is absolutely incredible place. Yes, it's haunted, but what I loved about it was the size of it and some of the video of capturing some of these rooms. The whole video was just great because the jail's amazing. I love abandoned jails. I think they're amazing. I think they're amazing places, and so much history with a lot of these jails, which is incredible too.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Probably arrived on a misdemeanor, then killed somebody for making them walk 45 minutes through the woods.
I don't know how he did it, but he did it. He did it with 2 other people. There was 3 of them that escaped, but they were all eventually caught. So.
Hey, real quick, everybody, UNX is going to be moving to their next audio program at 9:57 in 2 minutes. But we're going to stay and continue live on Facebook and YouTube so Bryan can show the rest of his clips. We've got about 5 or 6 more to go. And then he gets his shameless plug time. All right,
shameless
guys.
Plug.
Shameless. No shame here. Have you not watched the show, Bryan?
Yes, I've watched it many, many times.
All right, the next one we have, and forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, Ghost Turd Flashlight.
Ghost Road.
It says Ghost RD Flashlight.
Yeah, Ghost Road Flashlight.
Oh, Ghost Road. Sorry.
Ghost Road Flashlight. Yeah, this is a cool moment. Very cool moment.
All right, here we go.
That's weird. That's interesting, eh?
That's weird. I never turned that on. My light just came on all by itself.
Did you turn on Rob's light? That was just something there.
Yeah.
Did you turn on Rob's light?
Wow.
That's a good one.
That's good. That's good.
Wow.
Not even sure did.
Yep.
Yeah, the Ghost Road is a very, very interesting story. There was a guy traveling down the road on a motorcycle. It was a dirt road. Unfortunately, he turned a corner and fell off his motorcycle and hit a barbed wire fence. And unfortunately, his head left his body and hit the rock. And that's why they're assuming that Ghost Road is haunted because of this guy. What's interesting is if you go there at a certain time at night, you will actually see a motorcycle driving down the road and it disappears. You'll see the headlight and then all of a sudden it disappears. So it's obviously playing it over and over and over again because apparently it happens all the time. I haven't seen that personally. But we've captured so much at Ghost Road, and the rock is, and you know, it's one of those cool spots. And I tell you, if you don't like dark, you probably don't want to go there because it gets pitch black, like I mean serious black, because there's no lights on the road whatsoever, and it is like. Yeah, it's a crazy place that I don't know. Like there's been reports of this actually not happening, but there's also been people that have actually come out and said, yes, I knew the family. The son died there. And yeah, it was back in the early, late 50s, early 60s that this happened, apparently. So,
wow.
Yeah. Wow. But I love the answer. Love the answer. I love the automatic response. I got
sure
that.
did.
Yeah, sure did. It was just okay. So thank you.
No shit.
Thank you for answering. So
Yeah.
yeah, and if you moments before that, if you heard, there was another thing. I didn't put it in there in the clip, but you actually heard something say hello
What?
as
Oh, wow.
well. Yeah. So really, really cool.
That's fantastic. All right. So next one we got Screaming Tunnel the Other Side. Here we go.
Yeah.
Which way do I go? Point me in the right direction. Do I go straight or is it behind me? The other side. What does that mean? What does the other side mean?
I love that response.
Right.
Yeah. What does that mean? I love that response.
Yeah, the other side. Again, this is part of Streaming Tunnel, where we were actually looking for the house because apparently the foundation is still there from that burned house. So we were trying to actually look for the house because apparently the energy around this house is crazy, and so we were trying to find it. Unfortunately, and the reason the other side came out is because we were on the wrong side of the road. It was on the other side of the road. So yeah, so moments before that, I don't know if I sent it or not. I might have sent it, but I think I did actually. So I won't say anything about that. But yeah, so we ended up finding it was on the other side of the road with a viewer because we were actually live doing that, and she said you're actually in the wrong part. It's on the other side of the road. So that's where that came from. And
wow,
what an amazing response that was.
It was.
So
yeah.
It was helping.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is always cool.
Yeah, very.
All they could have done otherwise is just throw a compass at you.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we never ended up finding it. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so the next clip we got is the Screaming Tunnel clip 2.
I think this is the one I was talking about.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Can you help us find it? You'll never find it. That just said you'll never find it. Can you help us find it? You'll never find it. That just said you'll never find it.
Yep.
Wow.
That's what you want to hear when you're looking for something.
Yeah. We never found it. So yeah, that was again that happened moments before the other one, the other side. So obviously the first one sounded, it definitely was a woman, and then the other side was obviously definitely a man. So apparently she didn't want to help us, but he did. So.
Yeah.
It was probably his wife. He's like, screw her, I'll tell you what that.
Yeah, I'm not going to respond. I'm pleading the fifth.
Oh,
I'm not going to
Christoph, oh God.
Or maybe she knew that the husband was lying and she was giving him a heads up that he'll never find it.
Yeah.
Good point.
Maybe. Anything's possible. Anything is possible. But and I will say what's interesting about both those clips, we were about 300 meters away from the tunnel. So, and we were standing in an open field, like there was nothing around us.
Right.
And so I'm a big believer, and I've always said this: I don't care where you are, where you go, there's spirit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to talk to you, or they're not going to talk to you.
Right.
It's just the way it is. And that's what I believe.
Yeah. Well, I'm in agreement.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that too. Yep.
Yeah. I like that your reaction to those every time is like it's the first time.
I love it.
When you love what you do, that's how you react. Like it's the
Yeah,
first time you've
yeah.
ever heard something like that.
Yeah. I love it. I love capturing stuff. I just, it's a rush. It really, really is. And when it's really, really clear, it's even a bigger rush, because a lot of times you can be filming or doing your SB7 or whatever you're using. And especially with the SB7, because you don't always understand what's coming through, and when you go back and listen to it back on your, while you're doing your editing, it comes in so much clearer, right? I get goosebumps every time I capture something. It's fun. It's a lot of fun too. And again, it's one of those things where I'm looking for the answers, and I've been to so many places where I'm getting these answers that people have been asking all these type of questions, and I'm getting the answers. Now, why are they giving them to me and they're not giving them to somebody else? That is something that I'm looking for as well. Why do they talk to some people and they don't talk to others? And I think we're all curious about that, because like you guys said about Bobby Mackey's, like I went in there, they might not have been interested in talking to me, but the following week somebody else could have been there and they had all kinds of evidence,
Right.
and that's what I find really, really interesting as well. Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
Definitely.
All right. So our next clip.
Oh.
Excuse me. Is saying. Thank you. Is saying no paper mill. Here we go.
Is there a George in this building? Is there a George in this building?
Yeah.
No.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the reason why I was asking about a George, because I went with a few other people on another investigation, and apparently one of the guys that I was with said there was a George that died in this building, and something about a George. And when I was with my friend there, and that, by the way, that's the same guy with the flashlight at Ghost Road, my good friend Rob. You heard what I asked. I asked the question and said no, but I sometimes wonder if it's one of those things where they could be saying no, but it's actually yes, meaning that they're lying to you. And but I've done a lot of searching history on this place, and there's no record of a George. So I don't know where this guy got this from. Maybe he found something I didn't. But that place is absolutely huge. It's an amazing place. I've captured quite a bit of evidence in that place. But again, it's one of those places where I just love going to. And I've been by myself, and not recommended, obviously. But I couldn't even walk through the whole thing. I was like, I was hearing stuff that I never heard before, so I decided that I was going to leave. So,
no kidding. Bryan, I got to give you credit. Watching that video, all those support jacks holding up those concrete pylons above your head, I think that would have kept me out. Just
for safety.
No kidding. Good God.
You know what? I never thought about that before, but now if I go back there and go in that room, I'm going to think about that.
Yeah, for everybody watching, if you saw all those circular poles, those are support rods that they bring in to hold that ceiling up, which means that ceiling crumbling. So they're trying to hold it up for safety purposes so somebody doesn't get hurt. When I saw that, I was like, holy shit, I give you credit, Chef, for that. I just stuck my head in there like, nope.
That's the last thing you want to happen, right? The ceiling comes down, and he goes, "Did somebody collapse the ceiling?" And the voice goes, "Sure did."
Yeah. Never, that never ever entered my mind walking into that building, into that one area. Never ever thought about that. It's interesting.
Could you imagine? You see his recorder up in there with the
yeah. Yeah, you best believe that Bryan would be walking out of there with evidence, even if it collapsed.
Exactly.
There's no question.
Exactly.
So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So I pulled up it on my other screen so I can share it and stop it. There we go. All these support jacks are holding up those big concrete beams. See them? And if you look through there, they are all over the freaking place.
Yeah, they're everywhere in that room. Yeah. There's another room too where the ceiling is completely gone.
It used to have these support jacks.
No, it's upstairs on the second floor. Because this is 2 floors, and the second floor, the roof is completely gone, and you can look up at the sky. And the place is falling apart. But again, it's one of those things. It's an historical site, so they're not tearing it down.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
it might fall down. It might not.
Well, it might fall down. I think at one point there's another room there, and it's got it almost looks like your skateboard ramps. Like these big, huge ramps. So, and there's a lot of graffiti in that room. So, I'm kind of wondering at one point if they did have it open for skateboarders.
Yeah.
So it's actually really cool, that one room, and we've captured quite a bit of evidence in that room as well. Yeah, it's an interesting place. It's an interesting place, definitely
cool.
What year was it built? Do you know?
Oh God. I think it closed. God, I'd have to look back at my notes on that one. I think it opened before the 1900s, and I think it closed in 1957, 58, somewhere around there. I think. Don't quote me on that. So I would have to go back and look at my notes on the history of that place. But it was a paper mill. They made paper there.
Okay.
So.
Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah. It would explain the big concrete pylons because paper is very heavy when it comes off the rolls. So they would have needed tons of support if that was a paper mill. Yeah. All right. So our next one is Victorian Chapel.
Yes, this one is very cool.
All right, here we go.
So I have this device in my hands, and what you can do is you can speak into it. We'll be able to hear you. You can tell us anything you want. My name is Bryan. This is Lex. Who said Bryan? Was that Bryan it just said?
I thought it said Bryan.
Did you say Bryan? Did we hear you correctly? Can you tell me your name, please? Well, let me finish introducing you to everyone. There's Nando. There's Rosie.
Nando! That's Nando! 100% Nando!
I was like, Nando. How are my? Can you?
Yeah.
That
was very cool.
That was very cool.
Yeah, at the beginning there it did say hi, Lex.
Yeah.
And then obviously said Nando. Now obviously with the SP7, I know everybody says the exact same thing, the radio stations and all that stuff. But the time that I spent in England with the SP7, with all 11 investigations that we did, I maybe caught the radio once. Radio came over maybe once or twice, but let's be honest, Nando is not a very common name.
No.
And Nando was with us, obviously, because I introduced him. But just another cool moment through the SB7 that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, we didn't get inside the church because it was once a hospital and it's been turned into a church. Yeah, so it's really, the place was huge when it was open as a hospital and the place is still huge, even though it's a church right now. But there was side buildings to this place. It's just a massive place if you look at the pictures. But just a cool moment through the SB7 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's been, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's been 2.5 years since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten a name since being on your show. They actually call me the SB7 Whisperer now.
All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's funny. I don't think it's true, but I think it's funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. All right, we have got one more clip to show, and I'm going to have to share my screen. And this one's called The Mausoleum. So when it plays like this, guys, they're going to be able to hear us. So let's give you a heads up. Here we go.
All mute ourselves.
All right, here we go.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Are you buried here? Light it up if you are.
K2
just went off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I heard a step behind towards the back of the mausoleum.
So you're buried here. Light up the ball. Did somebody just go ooh? I just heard a woo. Can you light up the thing at the top of the step?
Do you like us unraveling your story?
What was the man's name that was buried here again?
Lawrence. Lawrence the Shore story. And she's Emmeline.
Lawrence was his first name?
Lawrence.
Yeah. If your name's Lawrence, light it up.
K2 went off.
If your name's Lawrence, light it up again.
Wow.
What was her name again, sorry?
Emmeline.
Emmeline?
Is it Emmeline? Emmeline.
Emily? Okay, can you stop it? Is there an Emily here?
Emmeline.
Emmeline?
Yeah.
Is there an Emmeline here?
Wow.
Thank you. Is Emmeline buried here? Lawrence, are you buried here? Is it true that you were buried somewhere else and you came here to get buried here?
Yeah.
Are you two together?
Oh.
Wow.
Oh,
That was really good.
That's
Immediate
really good.
response.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Right. It's kind of romantic, isn't it? Yeah.
That's incredible.
Everlasting love.
That was incredible.
That's so sweet.
And the K2's going off as well, man.
Oh, it's made me feel all fluffy.
That was awesome.
Apparently, you the cat ball whisperer too.
Yeah, and remember what I said before we went live, that it was one of those questions that I think a lot of people always wonder about. If somebody dies and then their spouse or their lover dies, next or whatever it is, do they end up together? Now, the interesting thing about this is the man died and the woman died 30 years later.
Oh, wow.
So it's always a question I think a lot of investigators ask if you two are together, and there you go. There was the answer there, that they're together. And now what's interesting, it's kind of funny. It's not, but the mausoleum stands there empty. So originally, that when the wife had the mausoleum built, it was meant for him. Unfortunately, I guess he was a very big man, because the coffin and him wouldn't fit in the mausoleum. So they had to bury him somewhere else. And then she passed away, and unfortunately, because they both couldn't get in there and she wanted to be buried with him, they brought the coffin, or they brought him from another graveyard over, and now they're together. Like they're like this. But the mausoleum sits empty. So what's interesting, at one point during the investigation, and was caught on camera, there was actually a light comes out from around the mausoleum, goes really, really slowly, and then goes inside the mausoleum. And it was really, really cool moment. Then there was another moment where you saw that was the cat ball and the K2, and I had it's like a REM pod that was specifically made. But at one moment, you actually see, it actually looks like feet that are walking along the stairs going towards the equipment, and and then it disappears. And I actually caught that on camera as well. And but it's an incredible place, really, really incredible place. And that was in the UK, by the way, just to let everybody know. That was one of our UK investigations. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay, Bryan, we have reached the part in the show called Shameless Plugs. Where can people find you? Where can they find your podcast? Where can they find Huntophobia?
Well, you can find Huntophobia everywhere. Facebook, Instagram. The new one, Threads. There you go. There's a new one that just came out. Where did I say? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, where you can find Huntophobia. Through the Lens, you can find us on Huntophobia Canada group page, Parapost Network Central, Parapost 2, and obviously YouTube. And also, I would be in trouble if I don't say this. Global Ghost Hunt can be found on Facebook, can be found on Instagram, can be found on YouTube, and can be found on TikTok as well. So if you haven't heard of the Global Ghost Hunt, you can go to www.globalghosthunt.com, and you can read up on Global Ghost Hunt if you haven't heard about that. It is a event that's going to be twice a year. We had one in May, and we have one coming up in October. And if you're interested in joining up your team to the Global Ghost Hunt, it's a 10-day event, and you get your location. And this is all about locations. Yes, it's about teams, but it's more about the locations. Because one of the reasons why I started the Global Ghost Hunt was because of these locations disappearing every year. And we won't really want to give recognition to a lot of these locations that are disappearing. And hopefully, with the Global Ghost Hunt, they can stay open a little bit longer.
Yeah.
That's great to hear, because that's super important.
Yep. Very, very, very
We've
important.
experienced it personally.
Yeah.
What's that, sorry?
We've experienced it personally.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, the May event ended up turning out really, really well. We had 25 live investigations over 10 days, and just under 140,000 views over those 10 days.
Nice.
So all the way from Australia to Europe to North America. So it did extremely well, and hopefully this October's will even be better.
Yeah, you can help those places out. That's great.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, that's the only thing to keep us going, is to make sure these locations exist. We've said it before, and I'll say it again. Nobody wants to investigate a Taco Bell that was built in 2022.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I would have, the only thing I would investigate in Taco Bell is what they're putting in the food. That's the only thing I'd know.
Well played.
Very well played.
Well
Why
played.
does beef smell like BO?
Yeah. I've never eaten at a Taco Bell, so I don't know.
Really?
Never.
Don't do
it. No plans.
That's Tony's favorite.
I love their tacos. They're hard shell tacos. I love them.
I
like
can only
tacos.
eat certain things on it, not everything.
I like
But
tacos.
it doesn't matter what you order. It's the same 3 ingredients. It's just how they
true.
layer it. It's
Yeah, it is.
Right.
And the
And I'll
amount
tell
of
you
cheese
what,
they will
when
put
you
on
leave the
it.
bar at 2 a.m., Taco Bell is phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
But they have like egg sandwiches. Nasty. I don't know.
I've had no interest in Taco Bell, to be honest. None whatsoever.
We're not helping his cause any.
Hey, and don't get me wrong, I love tacos like anybody else, but I would rather make them at home than go into a place and buy tacos that you never know what's inside that taco.
I hear you because he walked 45 minutes through the woods, so
Yeah.
he likes making his own tacos.
I'm very emotionally confused on whether or not we could use this footage to get ourselves a sponsorship now.
Yeah, that kind of went pros and cons.
I'm
on that
sorry.
one.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. We've been on through the lens. We've been trying to get Dr. Pepper because on every show that Lex does, he's got a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper, and he drinks it. And like he drinks like 4 or 5 of those a week.
Wow.
Like 2 liters.
Wow.
That's a lot.
2 liters. He drinks like 4 or 5 of those a week.
Yeah.
Those are like 4,000 calories a bottle.
That's rough.
Yeah, and then on top of that, he drinks energy drinks, and it's like, yeah, like we've been trying to get a Dr. Pepper sponsor for a long time because he's always drinking it on there. It's like,
And then
I don't know how he does it.
You might just need the doctor part.
Yeah.
Well, I told him you're not going to live past 45 if you continue doing what you're doing. He's only 30 right now, but I don't know how he does it. I honest to God, I don't know how he does it. Like that's a lot of pop.
That's a lot.
Yes.
Like
Is
2 liters.
it a regular or a diet?
No, it's regular Dr. Pepper. It's right.
Good
Well,
God.
Diet's worse for you.
I was just gonna say diet would be worse.
Yeah. But no, it's I love Lex, but he's on a break right now because unfortunately he had a passing in his family, so he stepped away from Through the Lens for a little while, and he'll eventually be back. But yeah, I give him crap every time he does because he's drinking on the show, and it's like honestly, it really doesn't look that good when you're drinking a 2-liter bottle while you're doing a podcast. Like it really doesn't.
We're all talking about Taco Bell. The entire audience in the chat is talking about White Castle. And if you've ever gone to the bar all night and then gone and gotten White Castle burger, that's even better than Taco Bell. But,
That's right.
I'll do White Castle. Yeah.
White Castle's good at that. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's definitely he's definitely not going to live to an old man. I can tell you that much right now. With what Scott's saying, it's like and that's no exaggeration. It's like it's 4 or 5 of those a week, every single week. Like I know you like Dr. Pepper, but good Lord, like, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with what White Castle is. What is White Castle?
Imagine a restaurant opened up in a place that entirely looks like a bathroom with white tiles.
Okay.
It does.
Okay. What do they serve there?
It's a tiny little slider burger, and you literally can squish it up in your hands and put the whole thing in one little ball in your mouth, and it just kind of dissolves. But they're really good when you're hungry.
It's a little scary when you say it dissolves in your mouth.
Right? You don't even have to chew it.
There goes our White Castle promo too.
Well, no, you just let them. You just let them know that I'm from Canada. I'm not. We have no White Castles here. So.
Oh my God, that was funny.
White Castle is 10 minutes of heaven, followed by 3 days of hell. Okay, there you go.
There's
Edward, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah,
that is funny.
But I think that's everything. Yeah, I think that's obviously Parapost Network, the app, is going through some changes, and hopefully by this time next year we'll have live streaming on there. So Parapost Network, the app, is in progress, and we're getting new hosting this week, so it's going to be 3,000 times faster than it is now, which is really super slow. And we're getting new hosting, so hopefully by this time next year people will be able to put their podcasts and live investigations on Parapost Network. And then eventually the Global Ghost Hunt, that's where you'll find the Global Ghost Hunt on Parapost Network, the app.
Fantastic.
So, yeah. So,
well, Bryan, it's been a pleasure having you on again, brother.
It's
You
been
always
awesome.
have good evidence.
Thank you.
Always a great investigator. We really appreciate coming out.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. And again, I will say this, it's still a little bit overwhelming, all 6 of you. It is. It is a little bit overwhelming.
Especially when we start talking about American food that'll kill you.
Next time we'll all have Dr. Peppers in our hands. See what that does, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I know I talk to Tony every so often, and I've heard from Sherry every so often too, and it's really great being on this show again. I have a lot of fun when I come on here, and thank you.
Well, it's great having you.
You bet. It was great.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was great having you back, and you showed some great evidence, so we appreciate that. You always have great stuff to show, and thanks for being on again, Bryan. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also want to reach out to our audience. You are always fantastic. You guys are always there for us. We appreciate you guys so much. I've said it in the past. I'll say it again. We'd like to thank every one of you individually, but that would take us another 3.5 hours. So we can't do it, but we want to tell you that we love you, and we thank you guys for coming out and watching us and watching Bryan and watching everybody we have on the show. We will be back again, same time, same channel, new guest next week. Still a good guest, though. But we appreciate you guys coming out. See you next week at the same time, same channel. And if you want to drink Dr. Pepper and eventually meet a doctor, and then they're going to say, did you really do that? And then you get a ghost that says, sure did. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. There it is.
Good night.
That's good. That was good.
Can you give me a name? What's your name?